Welcome to another episode of Risk Spotlight's weekly operational risk news update. I am Emily Jones, and I will be sharing insights on key operational risk news updates from last week. These updates are based on content from the Risk Spotlight portal, which is the world's first forward-looking operational risk content service. Let me start by sharing insights from the 2024 Thales Data Threat Report. The report reveals a startling 27% increase in ransomware attacks last year. What's more, 8% of those hit by these attacks made the difficult decision to pay the ransom. This significant uptick underlines the escalating challenge ransomware poses to businesses globally. Now let's talk about the broader threat landscape. Malware has taken the lead as the fastest growing threat, with a whopping 41% of enterprises reporting incidents. But that's not all. Phishing and ransomware attacks are increasingly targeting our cloud assets, including SaaS applications and cloud-based storage. This trend is pushing data security efforts to their limits. Interestingly, human error continues to be the primary culprit behind data breaches for the second year running. This fact really emphasizes the vital role of employee training and awareness in maintaining strong data security protocols. The link between compliance and security also gets a spotlight in the report. It turns out non-compliant enterprises face a much higher risk of breaches, 43% compared to just 3% among their compliant counterparts. This stark difference highlights the critical importance of adhering to regulatory standards to safeguard against security risks. Operational complexity is another significant challenge highlighted. Only a third of organizations feel confident in their ability to fully classify their data. And despite strides to improve key management systems, navigating multi-cloud environments and keeping up with evolving data privacy regulations remains a daunting task. Next update focuses on IT and security spending in EMEA for 2024. Security services and technology are topping the charts as the main priority across the EMEA region when it comes to IT spending. It seems a hefty number of organizations are looking to beef up their security investments this year, signaling a strong focus on fortifying their defenses. Now, onto security investment specifics. A whopping 63% of organizations are planning to direct their funds towards security this year. This is a notable uptick and clearly showcases the importance placed on cybersecurity in the current environment, especially when contrasted with the relatively few planning to dial back on cyber outlay. But what's driving this surge in IT spend? The primary motive appears to be enhancing cybersecurity resilience. Organizations are increasingly aware of their growing attack surfaces and the ever-evolving threat landscape, not to mention the complexities introduced by cloud computing. Interestingly, regulatory influence is also a significant factor here. The EU's push for greater transparency, responsible data use, and cybersecurity through various legal and regulatory initiatives is evidently shaping this upward trend in security spending. Let's talk about where the money's going. Globally, organizations are eyeing vulnerability management, penetration testing, data loss prevention, multi-factor authentication, and zero-trust network access, among others, as top areas for investment. Focusing on EMEA, there's a keen interest in zero-trust network access as part of cloud security strategies, along with investments in cloud data security, DLP projects, and cloud visibility and monitoring services, to name a few. Next update focuses on the human factor in data loss events. Did you know that just 1% of users are responsible for a staggering 88% of data loss alerts? That's right, a small fraction of users are causing the vast majority of headaches here. On average, organizations are facing around 15 data loss incidents each year, with 71% of these incidents mainly attributed to, you guessed it, careless users. And it doesn't stop there. Malicious insiders and departing employees make up 20% of these incidents, highlighting the risk posed by those we trust with sensitive data. Now, what do we mean by carelessness? Well, it encompasses actions like misdirecting emails, clicking on phishing sites, installing unauthorized software, and sending sensitive info to personal accounts. It's these preventable behaviors that are opening the door to potential breaches. And the consequences? They're not light. Misdirected emails alone can lead to hefty fines under GDPR and other legal frameworks. Plus, departing employees were found to be responsible for 87% of anomalous file exfiltrations over a 9-month period. This showcases the urgent need to monitor and secure the data handling practices of those leaving the organization. So, what can be done? Firms need to rethink data loss prevention, DLP strategies, with a focus on the human aspect. Implementing purpose-built DLP platforms can significantly enhance security programs by offering full visibility into both user actions and data movement. By putting in place DLP policy rules for emails, web uploads, and cloud file syncing, organizations can mitigate the risk of carelessness. Next update is on the journey towards gender parity in Britain's financial sector. Back in 2016, the UK's Finance Ministry launched an initiative called the Women in Finance Charter. It was a call to action for firms to voluntarily boost the number of women in senior roles by setting their own ambitious targets. Fast forward to today, and we've seen the proportion of women in senior finance roles climb to 35% in 2023, up from 34% the year before. It's the 7th consecutive year of growth, which is fantastic, but it also brings to light the need for a faster pace if we aim to achieve gender parity by 2038. Over 400 firms representing 1.3 million employees have stepped up to the plate, signing the charter and committing to change. However, the road ahead is not without its challenges. The Parliament's Treasury Committee has suggested that the Charter could do even more by broadening its focus beyond just senior management. They're advocating for a strategy that includes nurturing talent at all levels, which is essential for long-term diversity improvements. One of the bold proposals on the table is linking executive pay to diversity targets, adopting a comply or explain approach for better transparency and accountability. Next update is on the hot-button issue that's been making waves in the financial services sector, the meteoric rise of financial fraud, turbocharged by the dawn of generative AI tools. This discussion draws on a recent deep dive by TransUnion in their 2024 State of Omnichannel Fraud report, alongside insights from Interpol, and it's a topic that demands our attention. First off, the numbers are frankly staggering. From 2020 to 2023, data breaches in the US have surged by an incredible 157%. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The spotlight is now on synthetic identity fraud. Fraudsters have shifted gears, moving away from hijacking existing accounts to creating brand new ones out of thin air, leading to eye-watering financial losses. Interpol's insights bring a global perspective, pointing out how generative AI, alongside large language models and cryptocurrencies, are the new tools of choice for organized crime syndicates engaging in financial fraud across continents. One particularly insidious scam, known as pig butchering fraud, merges online romance scams with investment fraud, all lubricated by the anonymity and fluidity of cryptocurrency. This scheme has found fertile ground in regions like Asia, Africa, and Europe. The advent of generative AI has revolutionized the fraudster's toolkit, making it child's play to whip up fake IDs that are both convincing and cheap. The projection is grim, with synthetic identity fraud expected to cause around $23 billion in losses by the year 2030. But it's not all doom and gloom. Giants like Google Cloud and MasterCard are stepping into the arena, joining forces with fraud prevention firms to harness cutting-edge technologies like behavioral biometrics and AI-driven fraud detection mechanisms. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of last week's operational risk landscape. If you want to read more about the topics I have covered and review additional content on emerging operational risk topics, then please log in to the Risk Spotlight portal if you are a subscriber, or go to RiskSpotlight.com to sign up for a free trial. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe and keep those risks in check.